قول لنا الارم
Where's the
ريسل.
online safety course?
there is no ترابيزة.
Let's do it. Thank you for the quick shout there as well. Okay, let's begin. Self-image, the fastest hack of success. You've heard online that there's no shortcut or secret or any of that bullshit to success. There absolutely 100% is, and it is self-image. Who's read the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz? Let me see hands. Let me see ones in the chats. I've got the paperback, actually. I've just been... quick side note, I've been reading on a Kindle for so long that I've just started actually craving holding like a proper book again. So I started to order them from Amazon, and it feels pretty nice to be like, I don't know, there's a sense of completion with a real physical book that you don't get. Yeah, I see, Tom, you've got one. You don't get it with a Kindle. Like when you finish reading a book on a Kindle, it's okay, you're done. Time to move on to the next one. Kind of like Tinder Girls. When you've got the paperback book, it's just that there's a sense of completion. Like I stacked it on like the red book list. So there's 4 stories where I'm going to tell you how I've used this previously. And you might be surprised or you might think I'm exaggerating, but basically, I want to tell you this one first. When I moved back here in 2023, I had a Whoop tracker, right? And it shows you a certain metric, which is called respiratory rate, and mine was like 16, and it's good for your health if it goes down. Basically, how many breaths you take per minute when you're asleep. I set the visualizer, and mine was 16, like literally for an entire year straight, right? So it was like, that's the average. I set the goal for it to go down to 14 by the end of the year. And I started to visualize that. So I started to visualize, okay, I check this app and it'll go down to 14. Check this app, it'll go down to 14. In 2 days, it went down to 14.5. It had never been that low before. Like literally in the entire history of my app, you see it was like basically 16, 15.9, 16.1. It just dropped straight down. There's been a few times in my life where I have instantly gotten the weird result that I wanted straight after visualizing it. Instantly. 500k subs was a bit more of a longer term thing, but if you guys remember, the OGs from like 2021 will remember I used to have that pink piece of paper on my wall with 500k, and I always kept on visualizing that I would hit it in June 2022. What month do you think I hit it in? June 2022. Actually, I hit it in, I believe it was the 31st of May or maybe the 1st of June, but I remember feeling like I hit it a few weeks early. But I was visualizing that for the last year straight, and I literally guessed the week that I'd hit it on because I just kept on visualizing that. The Tinder Girl story, this is PG-18, so if you're under 18 years old, just promise you'll turn your volume down for this one. But I remember this was in early 2022, and I was reading this book at the time, and I was planning to meet this one girl who I knew I'd fuck that day. So I literally sat there like a psychopath on the way there, like on the train, visualizing how I would sleep with her. Instead of just like hoping that it kind of goes well, hoping that my dick game's there, I visualized myself like primal, every position. We fall onto the floor. We're on the bedside table. It was like we were going to a hotel. I'll bring her into the bathroom and make her face the mirror whilst I fuck her there, hold her, like everything. Imagine just like visualizing yourself as the fucking boss. Exactly what happened. Exactly. Like literally fell off the bed, did everything that I visualized. And it was so interesting that I didn't really attune to this, but I got to last like as long as I wanted as well, because I visualized that it was going to be like a long session, even though I was on NoFap and I hadn't had sex for like a little while, which technically means, you should have like busted like pretty fast. That didn't happen. It was just very interesting because like that wouldn't have happened if I didn't do that. I know my own dick game. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't actually mentally prep that. And the final one, which sounds kind of cringe, which is Alpha in the Gym. I've recently been reread this book, and what I do now is, in fact, I was going to tell you this right at the end, but I'll just tell you this right now because I think you'll want to copy this. Before I go to the gym, I play the same song. I close my eyes and I see myself as like social alpha, where basically I walk in confident, full breath. I say hello to the receptionist. I walk in, I'm holding eye contact with people saying hello, hello, hello. I see someone that I see, fist bump there, like friendly, basically visualizing myself doing all this. Then I visualize myself actually hitting the workout really well. I'm sweating, I'm dropping like sweat on the floor. I'm hitting these burpees, the Adonis Protocol workout. People are looking at me because I'm training hard. I've got heavy weights. And then I visualize myself in the sauna. I'm speaking to people in there. Hi, hello. Okay, name this. Boom, boom, boom. Speaking to everyone in there. There's a cute girl out in the pool. I'll go and approach her. That's exactly what just happened. It was literally like one day I've started to visualize this, and in the same day, that's exactly what just happened. You'll be so surprised at how quick your personality can just kind of update or at least boost you to the level that you want to be on. So this is how I've used it in a few key moments, and I also feel like it's just all round made me better in so many ways. I'd say particularly in sexual, fitness, and in business. I try and remind myself before any kind of task like this, for example, to just take a few seconds to sit there and really ask yourself how you want it to go. I'm not sure if there's any kind of magical superpowers with, psychocybernetics, visualizations, self-image. We'll talk about it soon. But there's just pure logic in, before you do something, to just sit for a second and ask yourself, what's your intention? Because think about it, you go to the gym like an NPC, let's be honest, right? Just press 1 in the chat if you feel like this. You go to the gym without much of a plan. Like, you know what workout routine you're doing, but in terms of speaking to the girls there, you're kind of just hoping that something happens, right? That's like kind of not setting a goal at all. Like, are any of you hoping to fucking pop off in business without a plan, without action? No, of course not, right? So why are you hoping to just randomly get lucky with your sexual life, with your social lives? Before you go to the gym, why not set like a goal and intention in your mind to visualize yourself speaking to 2 people? I guarantee if you just make that one change tomorrow, guarantee you'll be posting onto Adonis School that you spoke to 2 people in the gym tomorrow. Guarantee it. So what's stopping you right now? Because it's only the intention, right? So it's now, we just need to practically put this into your diary. You just go and put in like a calendar slot there, or some alarm clock reminder. It's gambling, yeah. If you haven't planned it, it's gambling, really. So this is how self-image works. You have your early childhood beliefs that are still impacting you today. So I've got a quick action step for you to think about. Think back to your childhood. What were you taught that could still be affecting you right now? It can be anything, and just type it in the chat. So whatever comes to your mind. What could you have been either taught, or what could you have learned that is still influencing you today? Share. No competition, no aggression, that I don't talk enough. Listen and pretty much never talk. People pleasing for sure. Not good at QI for maths. Unathletic, study. Don't speak to strangers, that's a good one. I'm lazy. Introvert, low self-confidence. Now, for many of you writing this, you know that this is bullshit, right? You know that you don't want to live like that anymore. But the truth is, if you had some kind of early childhood experience where you genuinely believed this, it can be quite hard to get out of it, because when you're in that AFK mode, you'll go back to this. So does that make sense? When you're in those AFK modes, when you don't have a clear goal, like a clear intention, like, you walk into the gym and say, okay, I'm going to speak to 2 girls today inside of the gym. That's like, you've got the intention. That's awesome. But 99% of the time you do anything, you don't actually set the intention. You're just in NPC mode, aren't you? You're just enacting your old childhood traumas. And so your parents told you to sit still and be a bitch, and you're enacting that every time you go and like see someone. So every time you think about cold approaching a girl, the reason why you don't is because you still have the old bias that like people conditioned you when you were a child. That's what your self-image is. It's like a collection of all of the beliefs that you had formed mostly in childhood, and then let's say maybe 20% in the recent years. Your self-image dictates the way that you do everything. Or I'll say everything AFK. If you set an intention right now to sit with alpha male body language, with confident body language, now you are. But 30 seconds ago, you weren't. 30 seconds ago, you were sat how your self-image dictated you to sit. Anyone notice that they were sat like squishing their balls? Be honest. Be honest. Who type 1 in the chat. Who was squishing their balls before I just gave them that reminder there? Quite a few of us, right? Quite a few of us. Now, shit posture is bad, fair enough, but like, that can be due to training and technology and stuff. But it's interesting things like how fast you speak or how rare you speak, whether you're intimidated. It's whether you hold eye contact or not. How do you react to authority figures? Has someone in the gym or anywhere else ever told you off as an adult? What happened? Sometimes you can have like, I don't know, some random security worker or, you know, some maintenance guy kind of tell you, oh, don't do that thing. And for some reason, it's like your eyes start crying a little bit. It's like, what the fuck? Like, because you've been raised to get so scared at the authority figure, right? That's still a part of your self-image, is like, you're a bitch, basically. Your parents didn't teach you, like your parents taught you wrong. That your parents told you to respect authority figures, not to challenge them. So now here you are trying to become an entrepreneur. Here you are trying to, like, you know, resist going to university, resist the slave mind. It's tough, right? You act like you do because of how you see yourself. We have Indian Uber driver, ghetto, let's say, what is this? Like let's say royalty, upper class white people. The way that you see yourself, the stories that were told to you when you were young, will dictate the kind of person you'll be. And I have a story with a friend I made in Bali. We were sat in the gym and he was telling me about like some rough shit. He's a black guy, right? He's from Libya. And he was telling me about some rough shit he's been through. And I told him something which he found really interesting. I said to him, like, yeah, you know, it's interesting. No matter how bad my life gets, I would never really like hurt anyone. I would never at this point in my life like sell drugs. It's just not like a possibility. And he found that so interesting. Like anyone else kind of feel that no matter how bad your life gets in terms of finances, you just wouldn't sell drugs. It's just like, it wouldn't fucking happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you're just not in that kind of space or anything, right? That's a self-image thing. Because you could, right? It wouldn't be that hard for you to find like how to get into it and start flipping, right? It actually, it's not that difficult. But you just wouldn't, because you're just not that kind of person. But isn't it crazy that there actually are? Like, I've literally got some friends who actually would, who have recently. So isn't it crazy where we can say, yeah, of course, like I'd never sell drugs. It's just weird. It's not something that I would do. But there's people you know right now who actually would. You live in the same area. You have access to the same kind of people, to the same resources. But there's someone else who would. That's a self-image thing. I find this so interesting. You act out the stories that were told to you. How are immigrants acting out in general? Anyone live in a country with a lot of immigrants, they're working like low-end jobs, taxi drivers. They're in survival mode. Save, NPCs, professional, they try and isolate themselves. They work 12 hours a day. Anyone know some like preppy, privileged motherfuckers? What's their like AFK? Like, here's the thing, right? Most people, for let's say 90% of the day, are AFK. They'll just enact their self-image. So when you see like some poverty immigrants, for 90% of the day, he's AFK and he's just enacting his self-image. So are you as well. So you're enacting just shit that was just fed to you when you were a child. You were conditioned by school to be a pussy. You were conditioned by your parents to be a pussy. You were conditioned by Hollywood movies to be a pussy. And so when you're AFK, which is probably about 90% of the day, you're just living that out. Anyone have quite a low standard of cleanliness? You drop something on your jumper and you just kind of like wipe it with a tissue and then just fucking keep wearing the same jumper. Be honest. Self-image thing as well. Because there's literally guys out there who would never get their clothes dirty. And if they got a small stain on their clothes, they'd stand up, take it off, go get changed, and go wash it and like iron it and stuff. Anyone here like not even know how to fucking iron clothes? I don't, right? Like, but there's some like kind of preppy motherfuckers who it's their self-image to look really presentable. And here we all are, fucking bathrobe fucking losers, bro. So you can see where my self-image is at, right? You can only reach and maintain the level of success that your self-image can handle. I know for a fact Iman did a lot of self-image work. He's read this book as well. Fucking looks like a fucking like upper class motherfucker in this, doesn't he? Like 1% type of guy. You can any guy that you look up to has done a lot of this kind of inner work, whether they've specifically closed their eyes and visualized, or they did it with a powerful affirmation. Because like for example, let's say Andrew Tate. I can't imagine Andrew Tate ever did like what he'd consider like gay visualizations, but at the same time, he had a rock hard core belief system to begin with. His self-image, apparently by his father, was already very strong. His father told him, you're a Tate, you're this, you're this, you're this. So he already had a very high self-image. When you have, let me draw something for you. If this is the rubber band, and we pull the rubber band this way, we know what will happen, right? I've told us all this analogy before. Eventually a rubber band snaps and it goes back to the start. We pull it this way, and it looks kind of like that. We stretch it. Eventually it snaps back and it's the same. It just keeps snapping back to the same thing here. Anyone's self-improvement journey feel like this? You make some progress, you go up, like it feels like you're going upstream away from your bad habits. It's like a full-time job to resist the bad shit that you're not supposed to be doing. It's like a full-time job to sit yourself down, to actually fucking do some good work, to be this new kind of person. It's like you're just swimming upstream, and it feels like you're always snapping back to where you started. The reason why is because this is your self-image, and you snap back to who you think you're supposed to be. You think you're supposed to be like loser who struggles with porn, who's got loser friends, because that's the belief system that you have in your mind. So that's where you snap back to. What if we could have it the opposite way around? What if we could move your self-image like over here, and you snapped forward, you slingshot forward towards it? Because for many of you, you're being like, you're snapping backwards, you're going backwards. What if we could set it so that your self-image was pushing your actions further? Think about how easy that would be. How difficult it is for you right now, because you keep snapping back to this fucking loser state you don't want to be in. Imagine if we could have the same effect, but in the opposite direction to the place you want to get to. Think about how powerful that would be. So then we experience this, right? We can relate to this. Why is it that we are snapping back to this place there then? Think about it logically. Why is this our basic attack? Why is this our foundation, our base level? Really, like, autistically think about it. Why is it? Just explain it in really autistic words. Comfort, standards. We can even say time. How much time you've spent here. It's routine. You're used to it. You're used to this kind of life. Your beliefs. Your habits. This is why we snap back. It's your natural habitat. It feels wrong to be somewhere else. This is what's comfortable, right? This is your thermometer at the perfect temperature. It feels wrong to be somewhere else is a really interesting thing. You pull away from, like, let's say this is your current self-image. You pull away from that and it feels wrong, doesn't it? It almost feels unnatural in some ways. Like there's a constant pull for you to go back to porn, isn't there? There's a constant pull for you to act like a Jeffrey. Like, basically, if we gave you a girl right now and we made you AFK, like we made you kind of like not present, you'd fuck it up, wouldn't you? It's your natural tendency to basically fuck up like everything that you do. Think about it. Why? Why is that? Does that not piss you off to think like you have to manually change this shit to get to like where you want? Let's say this is like future self-image. That this is all swimming upstream. You make a bit of progress, then you fall back down. You make a bit of progress, then you fall back down. You make a bit of progress, you fall back down, fall back down, fall down, fall back down, fall back down. The truth is, I don't think anyone has ever really made progress in self-improvements, you know? I really don't think so. Because you basically just have this where you make almost no progress, and you see those sad guys on Adonis Gang making no progress. The progress you do make is basically up to your new self-image, however you've seen yourself and you've been able to believe to see yourself. The only progress you make is where your self-image actually is. That's it. You won't cross a certain line that your self-image won't let you go past. So how brutal is that? Most people are just staying down here and not being able to move because they're obsessing over tactics. They're obsessing over, like real world advice. Okay, tell me what to do. Tell me what text to send to the girl. It's not about the text to send to the fucking girl. It's not about that. It's not. People ask me for like YouTube advice and stuff. Honestly, it's not about that. It's because you're retarded. That's why. That's why you're like you don't have like 10K a month right now. It's you want me to tell you what text to send to a girl. Bro, I'm telling you right now, like, Chad isn't thinking about what fucking text to send to a girl. He's just fucking Chad. It's just that simple. It's like the reason why you need texting advice, or the reason why, sorry, you need advice with girls is because you're thinking about what text to send rather than just being the guy. I think we as men, we're focusing too much on doing shit, doing this specific text tactic, doing this tactic for business, rather than being the guy. This is what we need to change. We need to change and actually start to see ourselves as the next versions of ourselves. There was a time when Sam Ovens came onto the call. Anyone remember that? And he basically said that like he wouldn't recommend doing the thing anymore. Honestly, I think that's bullshit. I spoke to my mentor, Dan, who speaks quite close to Sam as well. And he was saying, yeah, like I wouldn't even listen to that. I spoke to Charlie Morgan afterwards and he was like, no, I'm still going to do it. Because, you know, it's easy for Sam to say like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. But he did it and it worked, though. It worked for him to get to where he was. So I believe all of us should be doing it. Now, certainly we wouldn't want to be skimping out on the work. Basically, if anyone wasn't there, there's something called alchemy of self. It's a really awesome word. Alchemy of self. It's kind of like the construction of your new self. It's creating a new video game character. So imagine we open up a document right now and we name it. Okay, here's my video game character, Hamza. What traits do I want? We're on God mode. We're on God mode. What would you write down? Be honest, right now, right here, right now, we're on God mode in like, or we've got cheats enabled in a video game. What are you writing down? Go on. 7'4" height. Let's say shit that you actually can 100% work on. You can't change your height. Okay, we've got 6-pack. Physical beast. 1 million a month. What else? Laser focus. 8 girlfriends. Okay, what else? 10 out of 10 girl. What else? 180 IQ, confidence, work ethic, right? We can construct the video game character of our lives. Now, we can't just suddenly click our fingers and go and get like $1 million in our bank account. Of course not. But what we can do is construct the character we want to be. We can't just randomly wish for a fucking Bugatti to be outside of our house right now. Of course not. Of course not. That's not what visualization's supposed to be. Visualizations are supposed to basically be you mentally practicing new character traits. So out of these, I would like, basically, you set the goal, like let's say the destination. The destination goal, we want to make 1 million a month, right? That's one of our goals. We're going to start to visualize this. The reason we're not going to just randomly get to this number. We're going to become the man who actually deserves to be here. The point of visualization is we visualize ourselves with this. We visualize ourselves with the 10 million followers, and we're constantly thinking about who we need to become to achieve this, to get that. That's who we want to step into. Visualizations are powerful because it's kind of like a mental rehearsal for the new character that you want to develop, the character traits, the personality, the beliefs, the mindset, the energy inside of you. We can't wish and suddenly gain more subscribers overnight, but we can mentally kind of change the way that we act when we're about to go record another video. That's how visualizations work, and I think they really work well. So let's say this is exactly how I would do them. Let me just give you a quick lesson on exactly how I would do them, right? So I would choose a few goals. This is what you do. Choose 3 goals. We'll say 1, let's say 10K a month. 2, we'll say 10% body fat. 3, we'll say 4 wives. Classic. There. We start to visualize these. what we're going to do is we'll close our eyes and we'll visualize ourselves at 10K a month. We'll visualize, okay, there's a bunch of cash notifications on Stripe and PayPal, and we go onto our website and it says we just hit our first 10K a month, or that, you know, we've been on 10K for like 6 months now. It's awesome. We are at a restaurant with like 3-4 people and we pay for everyone. It doesn't even feel expensive because we make so much money. And then when I walk to the bathroom in the restaurant, my sleeves are hugging my arms tight and my bicep vein is popping. I lift up my shirt in like a kind of a silly, goofy manner with my friends. Like, he's in the toilet as well. And we're just kind of like laughing, and I show him my abs and I'm looking fucking lean and I feel boisterous and happy. It feels awesome. And then I go home to my 4 wives and I have a good time, right? That's us visualizing. At the end of every visualization, you want to ask yourself, okay, that's the destination. Who do I need to be to deserve that? How would I act? Well, in the 10K a month thing, I would have been committed to my business model. I would have been the kind of guy who's obsessed with working, who works supremely hard. None of this deep work bullshit, I do 2 hours of work a day type of shit, but like, I'm in work mode basically all day because I want to fucking work. I want to dominate. I feel like this masculine man. 10% body fat, I visualize myself just so used to being drenched in sweat. I'm just used to it now. It's every single fucking day my shirt's soaking with sweat. So I visualize that. I visualize the sheer confidence and primal masculinity and like Shiva-like energy that I have with my women. They're the things that you start to acknowledge and you start to develop and you start to think, okay, well, how do I enjoy work more to the point that I'll want to work all day? And your brain starts to think of these ideas for you. And it starts to like randomly pop up telling you like, oh, here's how you could achieve that one goal. You could start living like this. Oh, remember, you should go and reread that one chapter of The Way of the Superior Man because it will help you with that one goal right there. It gives you, first of all, the mental movie of where you want to get to. And then it starts to give you ideas on how to become the man who gets there. Is all this making sense so far? This is an interesting point. It was in the Tate Bible, if anyone's read that book. And Andrew Tate talks about you need to change where the hot coal rocks are. Basically, the reason why you're broke is because for so long you were actually fine with it. You were fine with it. You might have like acted like you were pissed off, like especially when you watch like Tate podcasts and you were like, yeah, guys, I'm going to be rich. But really, the reason why you're broke is because you're actually okay with it. Simple as that. When you're okay with something, that's like the level of your sort of comfort. You're okay in staying there. So you just kind of like do what's needed to stay there. Success and progress comes from dissatisfaction. It comes from basically feeling like you're currently on hot coal rocks that you need to move away from. So let's say you want to go, you're at 10K a month and you want to get to 100K. Here's the thing. Most people will say, okay, yeah, sure. I want to do this jump, but they won't make any progress to it because 10K is more than enough. Anyone feel like that they might actually end up experiencing this? Let's say you're making 10K a month, you can afford everything you want, and you kind of want to scale things up, but for some reason you just don't really give a shit anymore, so you just kind of don't. I've been there before. Once I hit 100K, in fact, I think when I hit like 10, 20K, I did the same thing where the drive to do more goes away when you don't even need it, right? It's the same with like, okay, you get a 5 out of 10 girlfriend and you're like, yeah, she's amazing. She's an 11 out of 10, guys. Yeah, like, yeah, okay, bro. How many times have I fucking heard that, bro? And then you're not driving. You're not like driven anymore. Anyone feel this with their physique? You built a pretty good physique. You still wanted a better physique, but you kind of feel like it's enough. And you just start getting fucking complacent and you start pushing as much. Anyone relate to that so far? Like I've had a few times where I've done that. You keep pushing when you feel like the current thing is not satisfying, when you feel like you're currently on the hot coal rocks. If I instantly dropped you into these, what would you do? You'd scream and get off them. You'd move away because the discomfort was so high. This is what the most successful people have, is they have such a huge level of discomfort for your highs. So imagine if I went down to 10K, how long do you think I would stay there for? let's say okay, 100k. If 1 month for me hit 99, I've been above 100k for like 9 months in a row, right? If we had 1 month that went like to 99, like below 100, how long do you think I could stay there? I'd be on hot coal rocks because that's below my sort of coal. We'll call it that coal line. Where is your coal line right now? Be honest. You know it's your coal line because you'll literally wake up in the middle of the fucking night to go work on that thing. So where is your coal line right now? In terms of your money, where is it? In terms of your physique, where is it? In terms of your girls, where is it? For most guys, coal line for girls is basically at the fucking rock bottom, right? How about for you? How about for your physique? No, fair enough. If your physique went really shit, fair enough. But it's what? It's maybe like a 4 out of 10 for your potential. Maybe a 7 out of 10. And you're kind of fine with that. You don't have that same drive anymore. Where you're randomly going to be like, oh, fuck, I've got to work out. I've got to do some fucking push-ups in the middle of the night. Where's your coal line? Really think to yourself, like, let's say for money, write this in the chat. Where is your coal line that you'll literally wake up in the middle of the fucking night to work if you weren't on that? For many of you guys, it might be 0, right? Are you waking up in the middle of the night in fucking sweats? The most successful guys, theirs is like 100k a month. They sweat at 100k a month. Let's say in net worth, if they don't have 500k, they sweat and they literally feel like fucking losers. Think about that. Like if my bank balance goes below 500k, I feel like a fucking loser, honestly. I'm like, damn, we've got to fix some shit. What the hell is this? So we just need to move this line, right? This is our line of standards of complacency, of comfort. We need to move this line and basically experience more pain at a higher level. We need to have dissatisfaction. In case there's anyone that didn't really tell you, success is entirely, completely and utterly about being dissatisfied with where you are. It's as simple as that. I don't know how the fuck I just spelled that. Dissatisfied. It's as simple as that. If you want success, you've got to be deeply dissatisfied with where you are right now. Issue is, it's very easy to feel comfortable with life, isn't it? You're broke. You've got fucking, let's say, close enough. You practically got $0. But you've got all your intimacy. You've got like sex basically checked off, right? Because you got porn. You've got entertainment checked off because you've got like free YouTube videos. Right? So it's very easy to be satisfied with any kind of progress that you've got because the modern world has made it so like easy for you to be fine. Let's say if you've got 0 girls, it's fine because it's like you can just go fap to like amazing porn anyway. So that coal line is like even above where it should be. How do you become more satisfied? You get pissed off. You get pissed off. You see the guys who've got the shit that you want and you're like so pissed thinking, why the fuck don't you have it? And you don't cope and start saying, oh, well, you know, I don't really care about more muscle. Yes, you fucking do. You don't cope and say, oh, I don't really, like, you know, money's like not even that important, bro. Yes, it fucking is. With girls, especially for young guys, that's where the cope comes in. Oh, well, you know, I don't really care about girls. Just focus on yourself. You know, I'm just focused on me anyway. Like, oh, girls are, like, yes, you fucking do. If we put 2 fucking 10 out of 10s in your room right now, guarantee you'd start caring. Guarantee you'd be like, oh yeah, women are pretty great actually. Imagine you had like 5 times, mind blowing. Fucking pounded the hell out of both of them. They treat you like you're a god. They're looking like fucking you like an animal. Guarantee you'll be walking away from that being like, yeah, you know, sex is pretty good. Girls are like pretty awesome anyway. Yeah. Oh, my mindset's completely changed from those previous times. Yeah, of course. Because basically the months where I've had that mindset of like, oh yeah, well, you know, like more muscle's not going to change my life. Well, what the fuck do you think happened to my muscle when I thought that last year? How about with money? What do you think with subscribers? What would happen when you think to yourself like, oh yeah, my muscle's going to be like, more muscle's not going to change my life. You're not going to accidentally build muscle, are you? Oh, you know, more money's not really going to change my life. If it maintains, you'd be lucky. Most likely it's kind of like that, where it'll just go down. Oh, I don't care about status. I don't care about looking good to impress people. I don't care about male friends. I don't care about attracting girls. Get out of here, Leo. So how do we update our self-image? How do we move our goal line up? Who wants to hear about that? Let me write down a few. There's visualizations. There's reminders. There is actions. Let's go through them. I've mentioned visualizations a lot. I don't think it's something you need to spend like 30 minutes a day doing. My visualization is literally about 3.5 minutes, and I do it before I go to the gym. I put on the first song inside of this playlist. I sit here and I close my eyes and I just visualize how I want the gym workout to go. Simple as that. I just visualize like myself almost like customizing the character where I'll just turn up all of the traits that I want. I want to be super happy. I want to be in this excited mode. I want to walk in with sheer confidence and hold eye contact and flirt with the pretty waitress. And I want to go upstairs and there's that girl from there that time. There's this guy from this time. I want to speak to them. Fist bump, fist bump, fist bump. And then I want to train hard. I want to look thick as fuck in the mirror as well. I want to look big. I want like people like I want to notice the side eyes that people are kind of like looking at me whilst I do my workout. That's a visualization where you're basically putting in a CD player of your like dream moments. So in terms of work, write it down. What could your work visualization be in terms of making money? Let's have a closing a sale. So you visualize yourself on a sales call and you visualize actually feeling excited for your prospect to use a certain objection that you've already prepared for. Like, for example, that he doesn't have enough money. You're visualizing being excited for that. When he says it, it's just boom, it's easy close. You know what to do now. You visualize the exact moments you're going to stand up after you've just done that hard, deep work tomorrow morning or later after this. You visualize, for example, you're about to go onto a call with your community like this one, and you visualize like it went great. You were in a flow state. There were no thoughts in your mind. It was hype. You were in such a great mood. And then you stand up thinking, damn, I just gave all these guys like so much value. That's going to be so awesome for them. Dusting your hands after a long period of productivity. Nice. Maybe you visualize the end result, like, for example, the amount of views that a YouTube video gets. You start with that. And the most important thing is, okay, you play the mental movie of your dream outcome. But straight after that, you need to allow your brain to just give you some ideas about how to actually make that possible. The point is, when we create a visualization, what we're doing is setting a goal for our brain. Our brain will always get you towards the goal that you set. It's just that it might take a while. So, for example, if you keep obsessing over sex, but you're a total and fucking loser, it's going to take you a few years to get there. But if you visualize, for example, just being a bit more confident in the gym and speaking to like one person in there, you'll probably get that today. Your brain will just move you towards the goal that you manually put inside of your own brain. So think of the manual goal that you want to put inside of your brain, and your brain will just command you to just get there. Not only that, it will actually, there's something called someone might know it, the rectangular, what is it? It's called REC. Someone might know it. There's a certain like brain pattern. RAS, that's it. Yeah. So there's a certain, basically, you'll start to see the things that you believe. If I tell you to look out for red cars today, you'll inevitably spot more red cars. If you're about to go buy a motorbike, you'll inevitably see more motorbikes on the street because your brain is picking that up. And so the idea is you've got to keep putting in the goal into your mind as many times as possible. Really, that's the next part, but at least play let's say the mental movie. Play the mental movie as many times as possible because your brain will start to look out for opportunities and more knowledge to acquire based on that. RAS stands for reticular activation system. It's kind of like your brain will look out for stuff that will help it to get to the goal. So if you visualize every day that you are an alpha male and that you are going to cold approach up this girl and she's going to want you, your RAS, this part of your brain will look out for other things that would help you in this goal. Suddenly, you'll start to get more of an interest in the red pill course. You'll be going on a normal walk and you'll randomly get like a reminder of the red pill course of something I said on there. You'll randomly get like a memory of it. You'll see things under the lens of the red pill. So you'll watch a YouTube video where some guy's talking about his girlfriend, and you'll watch it as like a red pill analysis almost. Now, the next thing we can do, so visualizations. Any questions on that before we move on? Should we set a specific time for it? Yeah, as always, like habits are really good to do at the exact same time every single day. So for me, it's simple. As soon as I finish my work in the morning, I get ready for the gym, I put on the same song and I visualize it to the same song. How often do I visualize? Once a day for about 3.5 minutes. Do we do this for every task we have to do? No, that would just be too much, to be honest. So I do it specifically, like, eyes closed, fully formal for a few minutes a day. And then I'll do very small ones throughout the day. So, for example, if I'm like just about to walk into the gym, sometimes as I'm kind of like my eyes aren't closed, but as I'm kind of walking there, I'll still kind of like mentally be playing a movie there, for example. Do we do a quick one or a long one? I'd say do both. Do a long one once a day, 3 to 5 minutes, and then do multiple quick ones. Should we do it as soon as... Nah, just do it at the same time, bro. How far into the future can you visualize for it to be impactful? That's a very interesting question. I honestly think it can be either, I've visualized things that will happen in the next hour, and I also visualize things that I want to achieve in like a year, 5 years from now. And it feels like no matter what I visualize, I'm pulled towards it. It's like, that's what it is. Remember before I was talking about the slingshot or the elastic band pulls you back. When you keep visualizing this thing up here, it's like you'll just feel pulled towards it. This is your elastic band now. It's like it's just pulled that way instead. If you visualize every single day, let's say, that you've got 10% body fat, imagine that. Just every single day, you close your eyes and visualize yourself at 10% body fat. You see the veins, you see the exact kind of like thirst traps that you'd post on Instagram, your Tinder pictures, you look fucking sexy, right? Every day you visualize it. Every day you visualize your diet, you visualize yourself resisting the junk food, everything, training hard, right? When your mom comes home and says she's got this snack for you, straight away, you're going to be more pulled to saying no. Of course you are, because you've been obsessed over this thing for a while. Anyone like noticed this with their own gym journey? Like when you got really obsessed with the gym, it was like so clear for the first time that you wouldn't go and eat the bullshit that your parents would bring, because you kept on like the way you got obsessed with it was probably watching fitness videos, right? You watched fitness videos of other muscular guys eat, and you looked at them thinking, oh, I'll build a physique like that. And it's like your brain started to get ready for things that would go with that goal or would go without it. It's like you were less likely to be unaware, less likely to be AFK with those choices, because they're now brought to like the forebrain. It was so obvious that eating some shit food's going to go against your goal. It'd be more clear now. Then we've got reminders. So reminders will say it's like affirmations, but in this book, there was kind of this interesting research that like affirmations don't exactly work, but you kind of want to do them anyway. It's kind of hard to explain, but what I would suggest is have reminders of the same thing. So every day for a few minutes, we visualize, let's say, our body fat percentage. We're going to be 10% body fat. We look sexy as fuck. We get so many likes on Instagram when we post a thirst trap or something awesome. Then we want to have reminders, which are kind of like affirmations, where you're reminding yourself of stuff that is actually genuinely true. So you remind yourself, I'm an athlete. You remind yourself, I'm used to training hard every single fucking day. I know I can do it. So when you, for example, are thinking about bitching out from the gym, you remind yourself, no, I'm an athlete. This is what an athlete does. When someone's about to offer you some food, you remind yourself, no, I don't eat that stuff. It's not the kind of guy that I am. You put it up on your wall, like you've seen. I often do that. I don't have much right now, but I'll often like stick up stuff on my wall, goals, everything like that. You remind yourself constantly that you've got your phone wallpaper, you've got a habit tracker on your wall, you've got friends who you're constantly speaking to the goal about. You want this constant reminders, yep, this is the guy I am, yep, this is the guy I am. And then finally, of course, it's the actual actions as well. This is where like the the affirmations and visualizations gets like a really bad rap because people say like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't do anything. You still have to do the actions. But the point is you're more likely to do the right actions if you've done them too first. So let's say, okay, fat woman, big fat woman, right? How do you draw a fat person? Like big, look at this weird ice cream looking girl, right? The kind of woman who steps on the scale at 7 p.m. after eating a big meal and notices that it went up by 15 pounds. You probably all know someone like this, right? There's like, no offense to them, they're usually quite nice people, but there's like, dear God, are they fucking retarded when it comes to like data collection. So she checked her weight yesterday, it was like 300 pounds, checked her weight the next day after a massive fucking meal, just ate food, it's 7 p.m, she's got clothes on, it's 315, and she concludes, I gained 15 pounds of fat in 24 hours, when actually it was just fucking water weight, food weight, clothes, everything, right? Her self-image is exactly to where she is right now. That she's ugly, she's fat, she's lazy, that the gym is scary, she doesn't enjoy it. And so she's just going to stay there. Now, imagine if all she tries to do is change her actions. You all know someone like this, right? What happens? She's going to try and change her actions. She's got on Weight Watchers. She's got on a fucking calorie deficit. She's trying to do any of these diets. What happens? What actually happens? Well, it snaps back, of course. Snaps back. She can't do the actions for long enough. So people say, like, all you need to lose weight is a calorie deficit. It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. The calorie deficit's not what you need for fat. You need the right psychology to begin with, because you can't stick to the calorie deficit for longer than a few days if it goes against how you see yourself. So what happens with these people when they actually like have, let's say, okay, day one's good, day two's good. What's going to happen on day three for this fat woman here? What's going to happen? Cake. What's she eating? Yeah, she's going to binge eat, right? Got to all of it back. She's not just going to go eat. Do you really think on this day three, after she's just had those 2 good days, is she really just going to eat at maintenance on that day? Does anyone really think she'll eat at maintenance? She's going to binge, right? She's going to go back into a fucking surplus, right? So she's just basically snapped off the previous 2 days. So it's not just about the actions, right? So you've been obsessing over the actions all of this time. You're going to do your deep work. You've got your calendar ready. You've got your workout routine ready. You know your diets. That's just the actions. That's the last thing that you should be focused on. The important thing is seeing, okay, where do you want to get to with the visualizations, reminding yourself of that, and then aligning those actions to that. If you skip either of these, you'll find yourself just spinning your circles and snapping back to where you are. You need to constantly be visualizing the goal. Like, let's say every single day, seeing the journey ahead there. Every day that's what you're focused on. Few minutes a day, reminding yourself, that's where I'm going to, that's where I'm going to, that's where I'm going to. Then when you focus on the actions, you can actually consistently get there because you're constantly looking to where you're going. It's kind of like when you're on a bicycle, you've got to look forward, right? You've got to look where you're going, right? You don't just obsess over the actions. You don't just look down at the pedals. Like, what the fuck's the point of that? You fall over. Q&A time. Ask me some questions. We got 9 minutes left. Should we do 4C failure visualizations more? I think you should do both of them. I think they're very powerful. So foreseeing failure is another type of visualization. I can take these off. Foreseeing failure is another type of visualization where you will you'll purposely look to the future and try and guess what bullshit will happen that will take you away from the goal. So let's say, for example, our goal is 10% body fat. We've been visualizing this for a while. We'd all sit down, close our eyes, and we'd negatively visualize bad things that could happen away from this goal. What could happen? Give us some ideas in the chat. What moments of failure could we have on this journey to getting 10% body fat? Birthday cake, seeing the cookies, getting hit by a bus, junk food. What specific moment? Not just the food. What moments? Think about it. What's a very specific moment? The family having dessert is perfect. Your girl asking for dessert. You're out with friends. Your co-workers are bringing you food. That's what this woman right here, she needs to be foreseeing, right? She might make some progress at home. Her co-workers are going to offer her some shit, right? That's what we need to be thinking about. You walk past the shop that you often buy some snacks at. You get home and there's no food and you don't feel like cooking, so you go onto one of the apps and it's just cheaper to buy like a burger, some seed oils. So you foresee that. You look to the future and you close your eyes and you play the mental movie of, for example, you're in the kitchen getting some water, your mother walks in with the shopping and she says, she got this for you. Look, we got some dessert, we got this thing. And you look at it and you're like, holy, like it actually looks good as fuck. You mentally play the movie of you overcoming that. So put yourself in a shit situation mentally, like in a visualization, and get yourself out of it. This is actually like way more helpful than just the positive visualizations. Do this with your girl, like do this with like potential cheating. Put a girl, like close your eyes, and really we can all do this right now. Close your eyes. Imagine you are fully well and truly happily married. You've got children. It's awesome. And you go out onto like a business trip, like Adonis school meetup 20 years from now. And when you're going back up to your hotel, you end up walking past a really attractive woman there. And you know what? She's actually quite sexually aggressive. Like she's horny as fuck for you. The truth is, most men would ruin their lives, their wife's life, and their children's lives right there because they've never prepared for it. But what if you prepare? And what if you see that woman and you literally like force this visualization for you to basically like look at her and say like, no, I'm not interested. And you walk inside your hotel room and you just jack off in there instead. Sounds kind of sad, but you just saved yourself a fucking divorce, right? Most guys will never ever consider that. So they'll enter a situation like that and they'll be completely unprepared for it. How about for a potential fight? Have you ever visualized, like you visualized some bullshit happening, right? All of us probably have, right? You've probably had moments where you've been daydreaming about like an argument and you knock this guy out. I'm not the only one, right? Type one in the chat if you've had that moment of like, you're in the gym and you're shadow boxing and shit, thinking about that motherfucker. Like the amount of like haymakers I've thrown and my rest breaks in the gym is crazy, right? Thinking you're hard and everything, right? But have you ever visualized skipping the fight entirely? Have you ever visualized that there's someone there who's going to say some mean shit to you that triggers you, and you literally close your eyes and see the moments where you kind of just like think fuck it and you walk away from them, right? That's you practicing for a bad day, because it's very easy to prepare for a good day, right? It's like just fucking enjoy it and do the right thing. But it's hard to prepare for the bad day and still do the right thing there. Any more questions? We've got 5 more minutes. Are there specific aspects of life that are better to visualize further out in the future rather than sooner in the future? So are there specific things you should be visualizing soon? Like, you know, like let's say for the next hour, like the gym workout coming up, compared to like bigger things that you should be visualizing a year from now? Honestly, I'm not even sure. I do it intuitively. I visualize things like social events and gym workouts like right now, like for this one, and I find that it really helps. But I also do like long-term ones. So every morning I wake up and I'll visualize like 3 million subscribers. I'll visualize 10,000 Adonis School students. But if I'm honest, I don't find like that seems to do that much. Maybe it is right now. Maybe that's why I'm working so hard. But it doesn't feel like the same as if instead I visualize like, okay, the course I'm going to make is incredible. Because it's not really like, when you think about it, life is not like, or long-term goals is not like doing some massive crazy thing. To achieve your long-term goals, your 10% body fat, dream physique, millionaire business, it's really just like what you're doing in this hour anyway. So you can reread your goals and, okay, I'm going to hit 3 million subscribers this year. I'm going to hit 10K a month this year, whatever. But in the end, you need the boost for the current task. It's the current task that will dictate the long-term goal anyway. So I'd often always just focus on that. Like when I visualize like 4 million subscribers, nothing really feels like it's changed. When I visualize, okay, this video I'm about to record right now is going to be sick, then I end up recording a sick video. And of course that ends up leading to the 4 million subscribers. How do we become dissatisfied whilst not coveting, as to covet is a skit? I don't know what covet means. How do you become dissatisfied? Desire more and have reasons for it. Think to yourself of what's 100 reasons why you want, or why the success, like the goal, could improve your life. So if you're thinking about 10K a month right now, write 100 things down, what you could buy with the 10K a month, what you would do with it, what your life would look like, and read them and hype up over that. Remind yourself every day that this stuff's important. Sometimes it's as simple as that. You've got to remind yourself that you want more out of life. We can ask, okay, well, how do you become satisfied with something? You cope and tell yourself that it's enough. You tell yourself that you don't really want more. You tell yourself that you're not really willing to sacrifice more. You hang out with people who have got the same as you or less than you. You consume the content of people who've got the same or less than you. So how do you become dissatisfied so that you start striving for more? You watch the content of people who have got more than you. You surround yourself with people who've either got more than you or who want to get more than you. My eyes are getting so sensitive. I thought, did I bring my... Yeah. I was going to put these on for this lecture because my eyes are getting really fucking sensitive. I look like I'm probably a fucking mong with shades on in the... How far from our current selves should... Fucking same question, bro. Fuck off. Does visualizing success fuel testosterone? Absolutely. 100%. When you think about fucking a girl and you haven't even touched your dick gets hard, right? Your body believes whatever you're visualizing. Your body believes it, right? If I told you like a realistic scenario of you're at some party and some dickhead is starting to be aggressive towards you, and it's not just like chatting shit. Now you're actually inside of you, your heart's beating faster, and you're getting ready to think you might have to swing on this guy. Your emotions will literally change if you visualize certain things. What are your emotions? Your cortisol, if we make you visualize a street fight, your cortisol will spike up. Guarantee it. So if we make you visualize, for example, dominating a woman or defending your level of status in the hierarchy or attacking another man or taking his woman, your testosterone should increase as well. That's all we have time for today, boys. Appreciate you, everyone listening in. We've got 116 live viewers. That's fucking awesome. I wasn't sure if we were going to get so much interest in this one because I've covered self-image a bunch of times with psychocybernetics. Can I take these off? Yeah, my eyes are so sensitive, bro. Okay, what did we think of the call today, boys? You can unmute yourselves now.